There's 16 simonim in Shulchan Aruch about Hilchos Chanukah. Tafresh Ein to Tafresh Behei. The very first halacha that is mentioned in Hilchos Chanukah, that there's no hesped on Chanukah. Only for Chacham B'fanav. The lashon of the Gemara, Ein moed b'fnei Talmud Chacham v'kol shkein Chanukah uPurim. For a Talmud Chacham, you're allowed to say a hesped b'fanav. Why are they called Talmidei Chachamim? Ein moed b'fnei Talmud Chacham. Why are they called Chachamim? A Talmud Chacham is someone who's learning. He's learning from a Chacham. You don't stop if you're a Talmud. You're just learning. You're in the middle of learning. And that was the story with Reb Nachman, Reb Shlomo Zalman. He never stopped learning. He was this Talmud Chacham. He was a very close Talmud of the Rosh Yeshiva, Zayus HaBracha, Balabas Levi. He felt very close to the Rosh Yeshiva, and the Rosh Yeshiva really enjoyed him. Chanukah is the time when we say, V'ashkicham Torasecha. The Yevanim wanted that the Torah should be forgotten. But the Torah, Baruch Shem, helped us. The Torah was not forgotten. And Rav Nachman was one of those people who showed the victory that the Baruch Shem helped us have over the Yevanim. The Torah was not forgotten. He was Kula Torah. Torah from the beginning, Torah through his life, and Torah towards the end. Even though there are many good things, important things that he stood for and that he did, he helped people whenever he could. His devotion to his wife was immense. But the thing that really stood out was his closeness with Torah. So if the question is that for a Talmud Chacham you're allowed to say a hesped, how do you know if he was a Talmud Chacham or not? You just had to speak with him for 5 minutes. You knew right away he was a Talmud Chacham. It was impossible not to know. And even if you're not a Bar Hachi, to understand the Torah which he wanted to say, he will tell you over a story from Gedolim, give you inspiration so you should understand the godless of Torah. But he had something to say in Torah all the time, wherever you were. It says in the Pasuk that after the children of Yaakov came back and they told him that Yosef is still alive, and he saw the Agalas, Asher Shalach, Paraloses Oisai, he believed that Yitzchak was alive. So it says in the Pasuk that Vayisa Yisrael v'chol shaloi v'yavai be'era shava. He didn't go down to Mitzrayim. He went to Beersheba. What did he do in Beersheba? Vayizbach zvachim l'olkei of Yitzchak. He brought a carbon to Rabbi Shalom in Beersheba, which was the makom that Avraham Avinu already had been Mekadesh. And he said, before I go down to Mitzrayim, this is what Moshe Mordechai Epstein says, I have to be Mizrayim with the Rebbeinu Shalom. If I should do this, not so posh to go down Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is Midbar Shmama. He was afraid that maybe the influence of the surroundings in Mitzrayim is going to pull down the madrega of the Shiftei Kah. So he went, and the Rebbeinu Shalom appeared to him, and he said, Anochi avicha al tira meir da Mitzrayim ki l'goy gad l'sim chasham. Anochi erev l'cha Mitzrayim, I'll go with you to Mitzrayim. V'anochi alcha gam olai, I will bring you out of Mitzrayim. V'yosef yosef yado necha. So then it says, Vayakam Yaakov Be'eshava, Vayusu b'nei Yisrael, Yaakov aviem bo'agolos, asher shalach paralosis. Then he first used the agolos. But before that, when he went to Beersheba, it doesn't say that he used the agolos. Why not? So Moshe Epstein says like this. He wasn't sure whether he was going to go down to Mitzrayim. He first had to ask the Rebbeinu Shalom for permission. And so he felt that since the Yosef only sent these agolos to take him down to Mitzrayim, he didn't have any right to use them if he wasn't going to Mitzrayim. It'd be Shor Shlemidas, Gazlan. He was using them for purposes for it wasn't sent for. So therefore he went to Beersheba, the Rebbeinu Shalom said, go to Mitzrayim, then he went on the agolos. Reb Nachman was in the yeshiva. He learned Yom V'Layla, Basmada Gedola, was Mekabel from the yeshiva, Zeil Tzaddik Bracha, became tremendous Talmid Chacham. And then the question is about going down Mitzrayim, going to the business. So I'm sure he didn't do anything without asking the yeshiva. The yeshiva said, yes, go to the business, don't worry. He said, Anochi ered imcha Mitzrayim, the Rebbeinu Shalom will be with you, v'anochi alcha gam olai. And I will take you out of Mitzrayim. You go in the business, and then when you come back, afterwards, you're still in the base measures. You're in the base measures the whole time, when you're in business. But after you're finished with the business, you retire from the business, back into the base measures, you made this koil for senior citizens, and he was Marbis Torah, besides all the Torah that he taught while he actually was in Mitzrayim. But there's a very interesting thought that Rabbi Yehuda Leib Fein says. He said this. It says in the pasuk, "Ve'elesh," in this week's Torah, "Ve'elesh shmos b'nei Yisrael habor Mitzrayim Yaakov Vanov b'cha Yaakov Reuven," and lists all of the everyone, all the 70 nefashos that went down to Mitzrayim. He asks, why did I say Ve'elesh shmos b'nei Yisrael habor Mitzrayim? It says Ve'elesh habor Mitzrayim. The names are mentioned. So he says that in Poland there was a law that every person, every Baal Bus was responsible to clean up the road in front of his house. This way he didn't need any sanitation department. And if someone didn't clean up the road in front of his house, they put him in jail. They had a special jail for people that didn't clean up in front of their house. He says, so he had to go 10 days in jail. So some people went to jail. Other people who were smarter, they went and they paid off the guard, and they said, write my name down that I was in jail, and then when I come out, you write that I came out. So no one's going to know the difference. He says, the names were in jail, but they were not in jail. He says, when Yaakov went down to Mitzrayim, Yaakov Banov went to Mitzrayim, they never were in Mitzrayim. Their names were in Mitzrayim. The passport, they said, the passport stamped that they were in Mitzrayim. But they were always in the base medrash. Yaakov sent Yehuda down to make sure there's a base medrash. So they were never in Mitzrayim. The names were there. The same thing as Reb Nachman. He was never out of the base medrash. Even when he was in business, he was always in Torah. Always thinking in Torah. So he was thinking Torah. What difference is it? The base medrash, or it's on Hilton Street. It's all the same thing. Learning is learning. So even though officially he was there, but Lamaisa, he was not there. The Gemara says that after 120 years, this person comes up to Bezin Shamala. They ask him, were you asked about Torah? So if he says, I was too poor, he would say, Hil Machayev Esanim. No one's poorer than Hil, and he learned Torah. was most nefesh lan Torah. If you said I was too rich and I had to take care of my business, you say, were you richer than Rav Lesben Charsum, who had 1,000 cities that he owned, 1,000 ships on sea, and he just wasn't goris them, and he learned. If he says, if he was a Rasha, it was Torah was Yesahara, we say, what were you? Look at Yosef Atzadik, who went through such nisyonis, and he was earned bin Nisayan, so you have no excuse. Hil machayus aniyim, Rav Lesben Charsum machayus ashirim, and Yosef is machayus harishayim. But I think that maybe we could add that Reb Nachman is machayev the Baal Batim. Baal Bas says, I had to work. What's after the Gonecha? So he say, like what she said before, okay, you're out of work, but that doesn't mean to say that you are not still in the base medrash. That doesn't mean to say that at that time you're part from learning. Where's the cup? Okay, you are in the business, but where's your cup? Is your cup in the base medrash? This is something, so Rav Nachman is machayev as a Baal Batim. It's a tremendous loss for Baltimore. His pleasantness, when he used to speak to him, he was always besimcha, he had besides having a nice word, he was such a pleasant person. He wasn't, I'd say in yeshiva on Moshe Shabbos, I used to have Bigolim, all of a sudden, there's only a third there. So that's what happened. He said, Rab Nachman is saying tonight also. So everyone went to him. Okay, I have no time. Baruch Hashem. That his Torah was ahov on everyone. Miyit and learn tomorrow.